1. What is the water availability in India? There is a need for stringent water policies in India to convert crisis into opportunity. GS Paper 1. Critical changes to geographical features. Availability of water in India. India has almost 18% of global population but only 4% of fresh water resources. On per capita water availability basis, India falls in the category of water-stressed nations, with less than 1,700 cubic meter water per capita per year. Almost 78% of India's water is being used for irrigation. With expanding urbanization, the share of agriculture in water consumption will have to go down. Irrigation potential of India. The ultimate irrigation potential, UIP, in the country, at current levels of technology, is 139.9 million hectares. Of this, almost 54% comes from surface irrigation and 46% from groundwater resources. Surface irrigation comprises of major and medium irrigation schemes, 42%, and minor surface irrigation schemes, 12%. Overall irrigation potential can go up from 139.9 million hectares today to 170 million hectares, if we tap the potential of interlinking of rivers. Our gross cropped area, GCA, hovers around 195 million hectares. Challenges to Indian irrigation sector. Much of government expenditure on irrigation goes for major and medium irrigation schemes. In groundwater, the problem is overexploitation and falling water tables. There are too many projects compared to resources allocated for them, making them an exorbitantly expensive proposition. Large leakages make it even worse. The widening gap between irrigation potential created, IPC, and potential utilized, IPU. Anyone who gets access to water first, goes for water-intensive crops like sugarcane, paddy, bananas, etc. as water is highly subsidized. As a result, not much water is left for tail-enders. What changes should be brought in water policy to address the water crisis in India? There is strong need for stringent water policies in India to convert crisis into opportunity. The subsidy on power and canal waters together amounts to almost 100,000 crore. Thus meters should be installed to measure power consumption. Farmers should be incentivized to save their consumption by rewarding them with monetary value of say 75% of the savings at a price equivalent to what it would cost to supply from fresh investments. There should be rationing of power and water supplies on per hectare basis, and let farmers choose cropping patterns based on that allocation. If any farmer wants more of these beyond their rationed quantity, they will have to pay full cost pricing. Replacing the inefficient pump sets by more energy efficient ones at government cost. Estimates suggest that almost 30% power can be saved. But to save water, we need to promote drip and sprinklers aggressively, especially for sugarcane and banana, saving 40–50% water. Flooding of rice fields needs to be replaced by SRI, system of rice intensification, technique, which can save about 30% water. We must stop protecting these water-intensive crops. Currently import duty on sugar is 40% and on rice 70–80%. In fact, India is a net exporter of virtual water as 1 kilogram of rice requires 3,000 to 5,000 liters of water and 1 kilogram of sugar about 2,000 liters of water, and both are being exported. 2. Modi's foreign policy team, which visited more than 130 countries, has diligently revived engagement at the bilateral, regional and multilateral level. Even though the team attended nearly every crucial regional and international summit. Then what are the reasons for poor outcomes of India's foreign policy team? GS Paper 2, India's Foreign Policy, Important Aspects of Governance. Following are the reasons for India's underpowered foreign policy. The smallest number of diplomats among the G20 countries but also the smallest among the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, group. The uneven follow-up of political initiatives by government. The interagency process becomes vital for effective implementation of foreign policy initiatives. But the interagency coordination in India is virtually non-existent, especially when compared to other countries that India is engaging with. The smaller size of the Foreign Service, particularly when compared to the more populous and powerful Indian Administrative Service. Narrow tax base which doesn't generate sufficient funds to commit to multifarious initiatives. Presently, instead of an overarching Modi doctrine, there are a series of catchy but vacuous foreign policy initiatives, such as Neighborhood First, Act East, Think West and Cigar. Sadly, these parts still do not add up to the sum of India's foreign policy. The complex and chaotic geopolitical scenario confronting India does not lend itself to easy analysis or response. Conclusion. To develop such a national vision, the Modi government needs to work with several other constituents, including state governments, the corporate sector, think tanks and civil society. While the government has articulated the need to engage with all these key domestic actors, it has still not put it into practice. Such an approach is vital if India's foreign policy is to look and drive like a Ferrari.